There's a Social Security proposal getting a lot of attention right now that would increase benefits by about $2,400 per year. That works out to roughly $200 per month. This proposal comes from Senator Bernie Sanders and is part of what's known as the Social Security Expansion Act. In this video, I want to explain what this bill actually proposes, where the $2,400 number comes from, who it would apply to, and where things stand right now.
Right now, somebody makes $100 million a year here. Somebody makes $176,000 here. They both contribute the same amount of money into the Social Security Trust Fund. If we lifted that cap, as I think most Americans want us to do, starting at $250,000, we could create a solvency for Social Security for the next 75 years and significantly increase benefits for recipients. Mr. Fiesta, does that idea make sense to you?
Yes. Your bill, others have put the Social Security Trust Fund on a better path to financial solvency. We know, for example, that Jeff Bezos only makes $80,000 a year. So he's only paying $80,000 in wages on Social Security, for example. The companies have to file SEC reports on what their executives are making. I can't see how that's fair. In addition, raising the cap will also create a better Social Security administration. Right now, when we have more people retiring than ever who need it, because everyone who works at SSA is paid out of the trust fund. It is at its lowest level of employees in 50 years, and that's even before DOGE took an axe to it earlier this year. And it's also the entry spot for Medicare as well. So raising the cap improves benefits, the trust fund, and the administration of the agency.
Mr. Williams, do you think it's okay that somebody who makes $50 million contributes the same amount into the Social Security as somebody makes $176,000?
Ranking Member Sanders, I'm going to stay in my lane and speak from the perspective of the families that I work with every day. But I can tell you that they depend on Social Security as a reliable foundation for any financial plan, and that they need clarity, they need predictability and confidence that the system that they pay into is going to be there in retirement.
Right. And isn't one of the ways to make sure that their kids and they will continue to have the benefits is by lifting the cap so that the wealthiest people in this country at a time of massive income and wealth inequality contribute their fair share?
As a practitioner, I welcome additional tools and discussions on how to extend the longevity of Social Security.
Mr. Williams, you sound like you should join us up there. You sound like a good politician. Mr. Kovlin, you talked correctly about an aging society. Isn't one way, you got two realities. You got an aging society, but you also have massive levels of income and wealth inequality. Do you think it's okay that somebody who's makes $50 million a year contributes the same amount as somebody makes $176,000 into the Social Security Trust Fund?
Well, respectfully, Senator, they also get the same back in Social Security benefits as the other folks. I mean, the Social Security system has been conceptualized since the beginning by FDR as a policy which sort of replicates a pension type system.
But they
pay in and get back.
But they're paying the same percentage of their income, 6.2%.
Correct.
All right,
but they get back comparable benefits as well. I mean, that's the way it's.
Yeah, but if you're making $50 million, you're probably not staying up nights worrying about your Social Security benefit. Point being, at a time when so many seniors are living in poverty, trying to survive, when we have some of my Republican colleagues talking about in one way or another cutting Social Security, raising the retirement benefits, don't you think one very simple and fair solution to the Social Security crisis that you talked about is lifting the cap so that people on top stop paying their fair share into the system?
Well, I think Social Security's gotten a lot of support for not being structured as a redistributive program, and you don't even really quite put your money where your mouth is on this policy proposal, because you create this donut where, you don't increase the cap for a certain amount of income, and then you start at 250,000, which is obviously politically driven, Senator, but you're not
Not
really
politically.
saying lift the cap. You're basically, well, we're going to have a cap, then we're going to keep the cap, and then we're
Okay,
going to
look,
drop the cap.
bottom line is we have more income and wealth inequality than we've ever had. You're living in an economy now where the richest people have never had it so good, and yet we have the dubious distinction of having the highest rate of senior poverty of almost any major country on earth. We've got to do something about it. And I think it's time we ask the wealthiest people in this country to start paying their fair share of taxes in general and into the Social Security Trust Fund. Thank you.
This is not hype. This is not a promise. But it is an important proposal that many people are talking about, and it's worth understanding clearly. Let's start with the number itself. $2,400 per year. For someone living on Social Security, that amount could make a meaningful difference. Broken down monthly, $200 could help cover groceries, utilities, prescriptions, or transportation. For some people, it could reduce the need to dip into savings. For others, it could simply make monthly budgeting a little less stressful, but it's important to understand what this number represents. This is not a one-time payment. It is an annual increase proposal that would raise monthly Social Security benefits by about $200 if the bill were enacted. Now let's talk about what the Social Security Expansion Act actually is. The Social Security Expansion Act is a proposed piece of legislation introduced by Senator Bernie Sanders. The goal of the bill is to expand Social Security benefits across the board and strengthen the program long-term. One of the central ideas behind the bill is that Social Security benefits have not kept up with the true cost of living for many retirees. Housing costs are higher, healthcare costs are higher, food prices are higher, and many people rely on Social Security as their primary or only source of income. The bill proposes increasing benefits by $200 per month, which adds up to $2,400 per year. That is where this figure comes from. Now let's be very clear. This bill has not passed. It is a proposal. There is no approved increase. There is no payment schedule, and there is no guarantee that this will become law. Understanding that distinction is critical. Now let's talk about who this increase would apply to if it were enacted. The Social Security Expansion Act proposes increasing benefits broadly. That means current beneficiaries, including retirees, people receiving SSDI, and survivors could potentially be included. The intent of the bill is to provide a universal benefit increase rather than a targeted one. However, the exact details would depend on how the legislation is finalized. That includes questions about eligibility, implementation timing, and how the increase would interact with existing benefit rules. Those details matter, and they would need to be clarified before anything could move forward. Now let's talk about how this proposal would be funded. This is one of the biggest points of debate. The bill proposes funding the benefit increase by adjusting how Social Security is financed, including changes related to higher earners contributing more into the system. Supporters argue this would strengthen Social Security's finances while improving benefit adequacy. Critics raise concerns about long-term impacts and economic effects. These funding debates are one reason the bill has not yet advanced. Before we go further, let me pause for just a moment. If you appreciate clear, calm explanations like this and want ongoing updates without exaggeration, take a second to subscribe. I'm trying my best to break these proposals down honestly so you can stay informed without feeling overwhelmed. Now let's continue. Let's talk about where this bill stands right now. As of now, the Social Security Expansion Act has been introduced and discussed, but it has not passed. There is no implementation date. There is no official vote schedule that guarantees movement. This bill has been reintroduced in multiple sessions of Congress, which shows continued interest, but reintroduction does not guarantee passage. That's how the legislative process works. Many proposals are introduced to shape discussion, even if they don't immediately become law. Now let's talk about expectations. It's understandable to feel hopeful when you hear about a potential $200 monthly increase, but it's important not to plan your finances around a proposal. Until something is officially approved, it should be treated as uncertain. If you currently receive Social Security, SSDI, or SSI, your existing benefit is confirmed income. That's what you should plan around. Any proposed increase should be viewed as a possibility, not a promise. Now let's talk about how this relates to cost of living adjustments. This proposed increase is separate from annual cost of living adjustments. It would be an additional benefit increase layered on top of existing benefits. That distinction matters because cost of living adjustments depend on inflation data, while this proposal is a structural change to benefit amounts. Now, let me say something directly. I know many people feel frustrated when they hear about proposals that seem to go nowhere. That frustration is understandable. I'm trying my best to explain what's being proposed without overstating what's actually happening. You deserve clear information, not confusion. So let's summarize the most important points. The Social Security Expansion Act proposes increasing benefits by about $200 per month. That equals $2,400 per year. It is a proposal introduced by Senator Bernie Sanders. It has not passed. There is no payment timeline. But it reflects a broader conversation about whether Social Security benefits are adequate in today's economy. Staying informed without panic is the best approach. This channel exists to help you understand Social Security proposals clearly, to focus on real numbers, and to separate confirmed updates from speculation. If you want the latest updates as they happen, make sure you're subscribed. And when this video ends, click the video on your screen for the most up-to-date Social Security news and changes you need to know about. I'll see you there.